Welcome to one of my favorite price points. This, my friends, is the Dream Machine XR NCIXPC, and it is in that magical zone between $2,000 and under $3,000, where you get still wicked price to performance, but you also just get plain old, wicked, crazy performance without totally overspending on it. Now, I approached the exterior tour of this system with a certain amount of pleasure because, compared to the Dream Machine Elite, which featured a Corsair 900D, so a massive, massive monstrosity of a case, excellent case, but very large and very heavy, this one uses the 750D, which I really feel like downsizes and downgrades the 900D in a very sensible way, making it still look great, fit pretty much whatever hardware that even 99% of enthusiasts are actually going to want to put in a machine, and costs a lot less, and most importantly, weighs a lot less. So we're going to start at the front, and Corsair has done their usual gorgeous Obsidian series treatment of the front with a beautiful brushed aluminum front panel. We've got headphone, microphone, and recessed reset switches on the left, a power switch in the middle and the top, and two USB 3.0 ports and two USB 2.0 ports on the right. We've got three 5¼ bays, just in case you still give two cares about those, which I don't think most people do. And then, pulling off that, again, nice aluminum front panel here, we reveal, yes, removable fan filters. Corsair has gotten a lot better at these over the years. The way that the fan filters were implemented in the original 800D just wasn't that elegant, whereas now you can pull that off, clean it off, you have access to the two 140mm fans in the front, and then you can put it back just like that. No big deal. All right, so on the right-hand side panel, we have, oh yeah, isn't that exciting? Okay, so there's nothing exciting there. Don't worry, on the other side panel, we have a gorgeous, nice, clear window. The quality of the acrylic does matter, you guys, and higher-end cases do tend, sometimes, from some manufacturers, to use higher-end glass in them. Nice big window so you can see pretty much the entire guts, but we're still going to open it up and show you the deets once we get a chance to do so. Next up, let's move around to the top. Again, little things that Corsair started to do really well over the years. This removable fan filter is one of the smarter designs I've seen. Magnets are basically magic, and when you implement them into your case, then what you're left with is a magical case. I mean, we all know that's what made the iPad magical, was the fact that it had magnets for the smart cover, right? Steve Jobs couldn't be wrong. So then in the top, you can see that we have three 120mm fans, and there's some secrets in there. These are BitPhoenix Spectre series fans, so they've got nice bright LEDs, great airflow characteristics, and more on that once we open it up. Moving around to the back, I/O is provided by a P9X79 Pro. This is still an X79 motherboard, so on the high-end LGA 2011 platform, but much more reasonable than the Rampage 4 Extreme, and maybe not quite as many exotic features, but still fantastic performance and great overclocking. We have a total of 4 USB 2.0 ports. We've got USB BIOS flashback, which is a handy feature in case you have any issues with a BIOS flash. 4 USB 3.0 ports, gigabit Ethernet, optical audio out. 2 powered eSATA 6 gig. These are handy. Powered eSATA is awesome because you can just run a straight eSATA cable, and then you can actually power portable drives with them if you have the appropriate cables. All right, then we've also got, 2 more USB 2.0 ports, Bluetooth 7.1 audio out, and some pretty sexy I/O on that graphics card that allows you to have 3 monitors plugged in to any port you want. Yes, the whole, okay, you can have DVI DisplayPort or DVI HDMI display, but that's gone. Now you can plug in 3 monitors with DVI, and HDMI, or you can use DisplayPort, or you can plug in a total of 6 if you use a DisplayPort hub and plug monitors into all other 3, giving you a total of 6 by 1080p capability monitor driving panel madness due to the 290X being awesome. Opening up the case, we find a couple of things. Number one is all that sexy, sexy hardware that we're already looking at because it has a very large window. So I guess I'm unveiling the thing that you've been staring at for a couple minutes already, which is less effective, but don't worry about it. Anyway, so we find all that sexy hardware, and we find an extremely smart, interior layout for this case. So there's not only places to mount 3.5-inch drives, which are modular and can actually be moved around and readjusted and restacked however you see fit, but you can even also add an additional one should you see fit, for a total of up to 9 drives being supported out of the box. On top of that, we have dedicated 2.5-inch drive mounting right here at the back that not only keeps those drives out of the way, but keeps their cabling out of the way and from messing up the otherwise pristine look of your system. So we've got a 240 gig Neutron GTX and a 2 terabyte storage drive for your storage subsystem, which should be mostly what you're going to need for now, but of course there's lots of room for expansion. For the CPU, we've got a 4930K, which is cooled by a Corsair H100i. Remember, that gives you Corsair Link software, which on a system like this, Corsair Dream Machine style, is going to be about as functional as it'll be on any system. You can use it to monitor all kinds of crazy stuff like the efficiency of your power supply, the temperature of your coolant, all kinds of great things that will be going on in Corsair Link. So make sure you install that. It's running in a push-pull configuration with the stock pressure-optimized fans on the inside, and then those LED fans that we saw from the top of the case on the outside. So that's about as good as it gets for a dual pre-built liquid cooling solution. We've got 16 gigs of Corsair Vengeance color-matched memory. So this is our Vengeance Pro, and it goes with that P9X79 Pro motherboard. So 16 gigs is still the gaming sweet spot. If you're doing any kind of serious content creation, you might want more, 32 gigs or even 64 gigs. But the great news about X79 is there's lots of room for expansion. You can throw in another matching kit for 32 gigs later on down the line, or of course, because all NCIXPC systems are fully custom, you can change it around should you see fit. I've already talked about the power supply, but there it is. There's an AX860i. It's a fully digital power supply and is compatible with Corsair Link. It's also extremely efficient with 80+ Platinum certification and fully modular, so you only see the cables that you actually need to wire up your system. In fact, you don't even see a lot of them because most of them are behind the motherboard tray. Which leads us to the centerpiece of this system, this price-to-performance rock star that is the R9 290X from AMD. This replaces what in the Elite version would be dual GTX 780s, and it delivers about the same performance as a single GTX 780, a little bit better at stock clock speeds actually, a little bit more power consumption, and it does run a little bit hotter. Okay, actually it runs a fair bit hotter, but that is by design. So AMD actually designed the card to run at 95 degrees for its entire lifetime. Don't be upset by it. You can actually adjust it yourself using their new control panel within the AMD driver itself. So you don't have to worry about that. You want to run at 80 degrees, you run at 80 degrees, and what it'll do is it'll dynamically adjust the clock speeds, and it'll perform a little bit slower. It is fully 4K gaming capable with 4 gigs of memory on a 512-bit bus, so it is truly designed for future gaming, whereas a lot of the time when we say future-proof, what we mean is expensive. This actually is made for your next monitor upgrade. So the conclusion for this system is pretty straightforward because there's not a lot negative to say about it. It makes some smart changes in the hardware compared to the Dream Machine Elite. I mean, it's less expensive, but it's hard to call some of the changes really downgrades. I mean, we've moved to an LGA 1150 platform, which particularly for gaming has demonstrated time and time again that it's not any slower. We've gone from an overkill AX1200i power supply to an AX860i, which is still fine for a single graphics configuration or even a dual graphics configuration. It's not till you go and throw 3 cards in there that you're going to start to see a difference there. This machine is fully capable of any kind of gaming scenario you throw at it due to that Radeon R9 290X, which in spite of being cheaper than the 780 that was featured in the Elite, actually is pretty darn close in terms of performance. So on top of all that, you get around $280 worth of the hottest games. So you get Battlefield 4. Remember guys, these game bundles are subject to change, all that stuff, but at this time, you get Battlefield 4, Never Settle Forever Silver, so that's a couple games more there. You get Tomb Raider, Crysis 3, Far Cry 3, and Far Cry Blood Dragon to come with it. So there you go, guys. It looks fantastic. It runs fantastic, whether you're running 1080p, 2560 by 1440, or even 4K. And I mean, normally I say what I would sort of change about them. I guess you could paint flames on the side. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this from NCIX.com. Oh, bollocks, okay, I forgot to mention the peripherals deals, guys. They're linked in the video description below. The crazy Russian is definitely going to find me and whip out his huge anger if he discovers that I did not say anything about the peripheral deals that are linked below the video.